Welcome back to my channel. My name is Linda. Today's episode is not going to be a podcast. I had this particular idea in mind for quite some time, and we are nearing spring, and I thought it'd be a good time to share this. I've been saying to myself for quite some time, since earlier this year, that I'll just save this knit until spring, or I'd have all this yarn stashed away and I'd be like, I'll just wait till spring to cast this on. I don't know why I chose spring. It might be to do with the colors that I've chosen, and they're bright and happy, and I just thought maybe I'll just wait till spring to do that project. I don't know what I was thinking. So these are all projects and yarn combinations that I've saved up, that I've been telling myself that I'll start in spring. That's 2 weeks away. So I mean, I'm very much aware that I will not get through this list. This is going to be a really long list, I'm sorry to say. We'll probably not even get through half of it. It's all just wishful thinking, but I figured if I put it out there, I have to commit in some way. And I think one day they'll get knitted, maybe not this spring. But I mean, they're all inspired by spring because I just kept telling myself spring is going to come. Anyway, we're going to start with my favorite things knitwear. I really love her designs. I think they're really classic, and they're great for beginners, because sweater number 1 was one of my first sweaters. It wasn't the first one, but I think it was the first that involved a full raglan construction. And yeah, from there on, I was just like, yep, I've got this. So I highly recommend her patterns if you haven't checked her out. They're quite straightforward. I've had sweater number 14, the V-neck, on my list for so long. I haven't knitted a V-neck before, and it's just been on my list because I love V-necks, and I mean, I've never knitted one, but that particular design I've just loved ever since I saw it. I even have the yarn ready. I've had this for ages. I just haven't knitted it up. I even bought the pattern, so I really should. That pattern is intended for this yarn. That's Drops Air in the color Clay. It's this beautiful muted rosy brown, I would describe. And I want to pair that with Drops Kid Silk in Almond, color number 42. And they look nothing alike, but I think together they're going to make a really nice rose gold piece, kind of like what's knitted in the sample that she's got on her website. So yeah, I can't wait to see how that looks. I think part of the reason why I haven't chosen this particular, I haven't started, was because I initially thought I'd make Magnolia, the Magnolia sweater. I forgot who that's by, but I thought I'd make that, and then I was like, no, this has to be for the V-neck, because she's got one basically in her sample, and it looks just like this combo. I don't know. We'll do it. Knit Crit's recently finished. She's also on YouTube and Instagram, but she just finished hers, and it's this beautiful plushy, golden combination that she's chosen, and it looks stunning. I need to just cast it on because I think I'll love it. I just keep prioritizing every other project like I usually do. I think it's also knitted on 6mm needles, so I have those lying around. I really should just cast that on. Also, along the lines of my favorite things knitwear, I also want to make sweater number 15. It is a stunning cable knit sweater, just a really classic look, and held with a fingering and a mohair. I've chosen these stunning combinations by Arwetta. So this is filcolana and tilia, both in the colorway Juicy Green. How stunning is that? Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm not generally a Oscar green kind of person, but I just love this color combination. I think as soon as this was like one of the first pieces that I was like, yep, that's for spring. And I think, yeah, this is like this and like this color that I'm wearing, it depicts spring for me. So I cannot wait to cast that on for spring. I think it'll be stunning. I think she's also got this combination as sample, if I'm not mistaken. And I did stalk a Ravelry knitter who also did this combination, and it's just a beautiful piece. It's like a nice oversized kind of look, just really classic. And I think it's also on 4mm needles, which is like my most used needle, I think I've said already. And it's basically on a couple of projects already, so that's kind of the main reason why I haven't casted that one on yet. But as soon as a 4mm needle is free, that's going to be started, I think. That will be my first one from this entire batch of patterns. So I can't wait for that. So I'm going to move on to petite knit. I've purchased the first pattern of the two I'm going to talk about. The first one is the Novice Cardigan mohair edition, knitted in 2 strands of mohair. I've chosen Drops Kid Silk. I'm gonna hold this double, and I think it's gonna be amazing. I was stalking Ravelry, and my main inspiration was one of the knitters knitted this in the smallest size. I think it was quite figure hugging on her. She wore it with some casual jeans, I think, and buttoned up. It was just adorable. I think I wanted a look just like that, and I had pink mohair, and I just thought that was perfect. I think that's also on 4mm needles, so that's kind of my problem with a lot of these patterns. But yeah, I've already purchased that pattern, so I think, yeah, it's just a matter of getting around to the needles when it frees up, and yeah, I can't wait. I do really like knitting with mohair, especially double-stranded. It's very fun. End result's like plushy and lovely. Yeah, I think that'll be great. And the other pattern I want to make from petite knit is potentially the Terezo Sweater. I'm just looking for the yarn. I potentially want to knit the Terezo Sweater from petite knit. I've been umming and ahhing that pattern for quite some time now. And I have the yarn, I have the suggested yarn. I just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a reason for not wanting to cast it on sooner than I have. I think I want to modify that collar, because that thick chunky collar doesn't really suit Sydney weather. And especially since we're going into spring, I think I just want a normal kind of yeah, double collar, maybe like a smaller 2.5 kind of centimeter deal. Anyway, I have the yarn. It's Noro Silk Garden Sock Solo. This is the 4-ply version. And yeah, what's interesting about this yarn is when I purchased it, they're all the same dye lot, but they're all really different. Like, these are the skeins. There's another one in the bag, but I mean, this one's very blue, this one's pretty greeny, and this one's really pink or purple. Like, they're very different. Like, I think knitted up they'll be stunning, and they'll kind of, you know, be the blend of colors that they are. But individually, I was looking at them and I'm like, wow, they're pretty different. Yeah. So, I mean, I can't decide whether or not I want to knit that with, knit this yarn with that pattern. I've also thought about my favorite things knitwear. I think cardigan number 8, the textured one, or is it the speckly one? I just can't decide whether I want a cardigan or a sweater with this. I feel like I'm a bit intimidated by the colors, because it is a bit stark, and I don't know if I'm gonna get enough wear out of it. In saying that, like, the colors I've chosen are pretty bright. I don't know why I'm a bit intimidated by the rainbow. I want to knit that held with Kid Silk mohair again. This one's in the color Chalk. I did make swatches, and the white was just a bit too white, and then light beige was just a bit too dark. This was a nice in-between of the two. And between this and white, I mean, they're fairly similar. This could almost pass as a white, but you can kind of see that it's a little bit off-white with maybe like a pearlescent sheen. Like it's got very, very, very pale, like pink in it or something. So it's like an off-white really. It looks quite stunning with this yarn. It kind of complements it in a way. So I guess if you wanted to mute down this rainbow, you could go for the darker one. I kind of wanted to bring out the colors of this yarn instead of just making it overly white or darkening it. So yeah, I'm happy with the combination. So I did swatch that. I just have to pick a pattern that I'm satisfied with. So yeah, I'm not 100% down on the Terezo sweater. I think Well Loved Knits also has a lovely V-neck that she's released with that yarn. I'm not sure if I want that as well. Like that's a great idea. I don't know. So that's just sitting there for now, to be honest. My next pattern I have purchased is by Sharon Deuce, I think. And it's the Maeves Jacket. I've been eyeing this for so long, like, yeah, and I, for some reason, thought that it didn't come in English and I couldn't get a hold of it, so I was kind of sad, but it does come in English, so do check on her website, it's right there. I love that pattern so much. I've been meaning to make a jacket like that for quite some time. I just couldn't decide on the yarn combo, but I actually have this stashed, so, and it worked out pretty well. I met Gage, so I did swatch this already. I met Gage and I'm pretty happy with it. I think I'll just go with it because it's a lovely combination for spring, hence the video title. This is Bendigo 8-ply luxury in the color Lilac Snow, and I'm holding that with Kid Silk mohair in like a, I think lilac, I don't know, number 9. So this combination is really cool. I actually took this with me when we were away, and I didn't cast on, but I just swatched, and yeah, I was really happy with it. I have a feeling it's also on 4mm needles, which is why I didn't officially cast on. Otherwise I would have, really. This pattern comes in 3 sizes, which I thought was a bit annoying, but I don't know if the bust circumference was listed, which I found a bit confusing because I didn't really, I don't know what size I'm going to make. I think I might just go with the large because I think most of the Ravelry knitters just went with the large. So I think I'll just do that, and I'll probably end up with a baggy, oversized jacket, which I would totally vibe. So I think I will do that. Moving on, we're about like halfway. I also want to knit Boylan Knits Ghost Horse. I don't know, I crossed out horse and I'm reading what I wrote and I just think, I think it's Ghost Horse. It's this beautiful 2-toned colourwork piece featuring this lovely horse and other details. I bought that pattern earlier in the year. I think she had a sale, and it was one of those things that I bought thinking one day I'll knit this. I'll work my way up to being very comfortable with colour work and I'll knit this. But it hasn't happened yet. I think I'm mostly intimidated by the colour work. But I bought the yarn, so like I'm ready to go. I just need that extra push. I've chosen Ching fibre. This is the dashing fingering in sepia. It's a very stunning golden beige with slightly pink undertones, black speckles, and really faint orange speckles if you look really closely. I want to pair that with this stunning one-of-a-kind shade from Moran, tones of like blush and like a muted green, like really earthy tones, and I just think that would be pretty cool. very much up my alley. So yeah, I don't know. I might want to do that pattern. Like, I already have it, but I also might want to do like an Andrea Nowry pattern. I think I have a few of her patterns purchased too, and I can't decide whether I want this or that, because this was intended for the ghost horse pattern, but I mean, it could be any pattern since it hasn't been knitted yet. Yeah, so we'll see where that goes, because I'm not too sure about that one either. Along the lines of Make Moran, sorry for the chopping and pausing. I'm in a battle with some noise over here, so that's what that is. Sorry about that. I was talking about Make Moran. I had asked her to dye up some yarn for me, so this is a very much a one of a kind for me. It's a bluey toned grey, like a silvery blue grey, with specks of orange and red in it. It's really quite stunning. It's exactly what I wanted. I even caked up a skein because I am ready to go at some point. It's really, really pretty. She's quite amazing if you don't know of her. She's also from Sydney, Australia. I had a particular pattern in mind when I wanted this yarn. I wanted to make, I'm gonna have to look at the name because I keep forgetting how to say it and I keep butchering it every time I think about it. It's Ma Cherie Bonbon Sweater by Pop Knit. It's a lovely cable knit pattern, but the construction is kind of in pieces. Like, it's a front knit panel and then a back knit panel and then you knit the sleeves. And I'm a bit hesitant to make that because, I don't know, I have really enjoyed making everything sort of seamless in a way, and making them in pieces and panels and then having to stitch it up at the end is kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit, I'm dreading it even thinking about it. So I don't know. We might still make it because I have the mohair paired with this yarn. So this is Kid Silk in Moonshine. I have a swatch somewhere here. I did swatch it up. It's really pretty. I keep saying the same thing, but it is quite stunning. I can't decide what I want to make with this. It is DK weight, so I think I'm open to other cable knit sweaters in a DK weight. I just, yeah, I'm not committed to that pop knit sweater. I also have a couple more patterns that I don't have yarns for. So the first one is I intend to make the Jolie sweater from Sunness Garn. It's from the Soft Mohair 2022 magazine. I have it here. It is this double mohair held colorwork sweater, kind of stripy. Okay, I'll hopefully put a link because it's probably not as clear in me showing you right now. I have this idea of having it in like pastel green, like, or mint, and like a blush pink with maybe some white there. I don't really know, but I think that's the color combination I want to go with, and I think I want it for that sweater because I already have the pattern in the book. I've got a lot of double mohair pieces, so it's just another one to add to the whole thing. The other pattern I want to also make is the Great Gingham by Jessie Maids. I have it in mind that I want to make a long sleeve in like a rainbow pastel, with like, held with like a white going through it as well. Nicole Stitchtree, who's also on YouTube and Instagram, made this lovely low contrast purple and white piece, and I love the idea of a low contrast. So I'm thinking like a rainbow pastel with like a white, so it's not, yeah, it's kind of like a low contrast piece. I don't know. I just have thoughts of making that, and every time I find like hand-dyed yarn, I'm like, that's the color. Like I need that. That's the color for that raglan. But yeah, I haven't yet purchased anything yet for that, so that is something also on my mind. My last piece is something that my grandma actually wanted, so I will have to knit this because I've promised her, and I also want to make it for her. It's the Maeves Jacket by Sandisgarn. It's a lovely two-toned colourwork piece that actually involves grafting. And I actually am going to be gifted a sewing machine, so I feel insanely grateful about that, and hopefully I'll be able to do that. It makes me so nervous to cut a knitted piece and stitch it all together again, but you know, I've seen people do it, I'm sure it works, I just have to do it myself. My grandma has yarn specifications, so she would like a muted rose with like an off-white, and I've been on the hunt for looking for anything that's 4-ply in this lovely muted rose that she'd like. And I don't know why I thought this would be a good colour, but it's not. This is Bendigo Luxury 4-ply in, I think, boysenberry. I thought that this might work, but when I got it, I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna work. I think it's just a bit too bright for her liking. She's a bit more understated, and I think this would be too bright for her, too purple at least. And I think I did mention last time that I want to make something for myself every time I make my grandparents something, so I also want to make one for myself. I want mine in like a lovely buttery yellow, just like the picture, or like a mustard yellow. I think yellow would be a really cool combination, and I think it's very spring. So yeah, that's another pattern that I need to purchase and need to get onto. Anyway, as soon as I find the yarn, yeah, I'll have to cast that one on. I think that's everything. I feel like I've been talking for ages. I've certainly been sitting here for ages. Most of the time I've had the camera off in the moments where there's been noise and I've just been knitting, and then I'd turn it back on and I'm like, I'm still here. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Hi, welcome back to my podcast. No, this isn't a podcast.